We're gonna move on to the next artist. We got another artist waiting in the wing now. Now, there's a band called Undefeated in Lowville, New York, and there's three members of this band, and kind of filling in for them is one of the members, which is a guitarist and vocalist, and her name is Meredith. Hello, Meredith. Meredith Dunckel right here.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am doing very well. I'm enjoying the sun.
Oh, very cool. Now, is it still light out there? Or is it getting dark?
It's just now like beginning to be dusk.
Okay, all right,
So it's still
very
it
cool.
stays
Yeah.
light
So,
till
I
about
mean, there's
9:30.
still sun. Yeah, it's still light outside over here, but obviously in the East Coast, it's not the same. So, tell us real briefly a little about Undefeated and a little bit about you in a nutshell.
Yeah, we're a three-piece sibling rock band. We are heads well, we so many dates this summer, which like I'm so excited about. This is the first summer that I've booked our tour ourselves. And we're going as far as Texas. We live in New York for reference. So super excited about that.
Well, that's pretty far.
Yeah, it is pretty far. We've been playing together. My brother and I were in this band for about coming up in 6 years in August, and then my sister joined us 2 years ago, and we've been promoting and really going after it for the past about 2.5 years. So it's cool to see things that just keep snowballing, and you just know God's hand is in it.
Cool. All right. So, well, I'm going to let you start here. I've got more questions, but I want to hear some
Yeah.
music too, and so I'm
This
going to
first
hush and let you do it.
this first one is off of our newest EP. This is Two-Faced. Two-faced, never said it was okay. You loved the honest word, until it hurt you. You couldn't kill before it's time. You never know where to draw the line, and now you're mine. And on the direct brink of hell, you stood at your good at falling low, at falling down, with no one left to save you now. It's a mystery of change, the products of lion and chains, and drowning in flames. Are you mine? And on the direct brink of hell, yesterday I cried at falling low, at falling down, with no one left to save you now. Hell, you cut your shine, falling down, with no one left to save you now. The direct brink of hell, yesterday I cried at falling low, at falling down, with no one left to save you now. Hell, you cut your shine, falling down, with no one left to save you now.
Very cool. Very
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I'm fascinated, in his bio, and you've touched on this just a little bit. The three of you in this band,
Yeah.
you all are coming from different places stylistically, right? And yet you're
Yeah.
meshing it together.
Yeah, I love vocals. I play guitar specifically because God hasn't brought a guitarist to us yet. And so anything with good vocals, no matter what genre, I absolutely love it. The drummer is
Mm,
like the craziest, like heavy death metal you'll ever listen to, and then the bassist gives him a run for his money. So, and I'm talking like
wow.
straight up crazy screamo, like I don't even understand what they're saying kind of music, which they have some
Yeah.
cool beats, I will say, but not necessarily
Yeah.
something that I lean towards.
But when he's drumming, you can understand that.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Because there's no lyrical content there, right?
He actually writes a little bit. Well, he said he's tried writing lyrics, but he's
But I mean, in terms of
background.
singing, I mean, yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah. He
yeah,
does sing a little bit though. He does some backup vocals.
okay. So, but so what? So you've got basically a rhythm section that's going to be a real powerhouse. It sounds like.
They really, really, really are. We've just now started my sister, who's the bassist,
Yeah.
on some vocals, which is very
Mm,
entertaining for me because it's not necessarily her first love.
mm, wow. Well, you know what? Sometimes when people get pulled into bass by necessity, they end up being really good at it. Um,
It's true. That's how
now,
he
I found
started.
that from experience.
Yeah. Our bassist, we were
So
with the first
in
one
my
for, oh, sorry, go on.
no, go ahead, you.
I said the first basis we had was about 4 years or 4 years, and we started traveling more and more, and he
Mm,
just couldn't keep up with it, didn't want to. And my sister was like, "I'll do it," and she didn't play bass, she didn't play any instruments at the time, and I was like, "Okay, you go ahead. Here's my old bass that I haven't used in a little bit. You have fun with it, right?" And in a month, she was
mm,
absolutely flying with it. So why would I not use what God has put
wow.
in my house?
Wow, that's something. So in my band we do like Christian blues rock and
Nice.
the guy who is our bass player, he actually is good at everything. You know, he can drum if he needs to,
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
in his own church he does guitar. You know, and he can shred. He can shred with any metal guy totally,
Awesome.
and so like bass isn't even his main thing, but for us, he is fantastic. Oh,
Yeah,
just
I
so
love
yeah,
that.
I've been there. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's something. Very cool. So you want to share another tune with us? By the way, are these tunes from your band and you're just kind of doing them unplugged? Is that the
Yeah.
idea?
Yep.
Okay, very cool. Well, I'd offer you guitar assistance, but I live too far away. So anyway,
Oh man. This next one,
oh well. Well, what you gonna do?
it's very near to my heart. It was written after a very dear friend of ours. His name was Paul. He gave Christian his first snare drum when he was younger. Someone had given it to Paul when he was a kid and said, "You will know when to pass this on to the next generation." And when he gave Christian the drum, he told him the same thing. We lost Paul about a year and a half ago to cancer, unfortunately, and he was only
Oh,
39. I often felt that he had lived 80 or
mm,
90 years within those 39 years because the highs and lows this guy went through, like lost a house, gained a girlfriend, lost his fiance, crashed a motorcycle, like reunited with his family, like the highest of highs, the lowest of lows.
mm.
This guy went through. He was the funniest, most loving and caring person I ever knew. So the lyrics, "Some people
Wow.
live it all in a little time," were based after him. This is Story. We're not like them, but we can pretend to sing along to the same tune. Your heart's on your sleeve, the demons in sleep, you hit them all too soon. We're here alone in the world's I wrote, if I'm honest, if I'm honest. Some people live it all in a little time. Their soul was worn, it was meant for the other side. Change the rules till the sun falls through. Yeah, me and you. Where does your story go? We tried to heal, we tried to care, living on an empty prayer. I changed a lot changed me, yet here I am. And I believe some people live it all in a little time. Their soul was worn, it was meant for the other side. Change the rules till the sun falls through. Yeah, me and you. Where does your story go? We're here alone in the world you wrote. If you're honest, if you're honest, we're here alone in the world we wrote. Now tell me, where does your story go? Some people live it all in a little time. Their soul was worn, it was meant for the other side. I change the rules till the sun falls through. Yeah, me and you. Some people live it all in a little time. Their soul is worn, it was meant for the other side. To change the rules, the sun falls through. Yeah, me and you. Where will your story go? Where will your story go?
Wow. Very cool. Very cool.
Thanks. That one's one of my favorites. The drummer, not so much. It's the first and only, he says, pop song that we'll ever write.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I liked it. There's some in the comments. People are really liking what they're hearing too. By the way, just so you know.
Good. I'm glad.
So, tell me a little more about your influences.
I love, love, love Hayley Williams from Paramore. She's been one of my favorites for years, as well as Lacey Sturm from Flyleaf. Some of my
Mm-hmm.
absolute favorite people.
Yeah.
Lacey's lyrics are just so like deep and meaningful and have layers and layers of different meaning in them.
Mm.
So that's someone I really look up to.
Yeah, very cool. Now, I saw, yeah, that was mentioned in the bio about Lacey Strum.
Hmm.
Now, at the risk of dating myself, I'm not familiar with who Flyleaf is. Tell me in a nutshell who and what they are.
So they do a lot of rock and metal, and as far as I know, they were kind of the first. Like they're a female version of Skillet, I guess you could say. So they kind of broke through
Okay,
into
okay,
the
got it.
secular world
Hmm.
with their songs. So
Yeah,
that's where I've always felt
very
led, even
cool.
as a kid. So
Yeah. All right. Okay, cool. What, you got another song you want to share with us?
yeah, I do. This one is a cover, but it's super fun. It's just I don't know. I feel like it has a good meaning in it. So this is "Missing You." I heard that you've been self-medicating in the quiet of your room, a sweet suburban tune. And if you need a friend, I'll help you stitch up your wounds. I heard that you've been having some trouble finding your place in the world. I know how much that hurts. But if you need a friend, just say the word. You've come as far, you're all cleaned up, you've made a mess again. There's no more trying, time to sort yourself out. Hold on tight, this ride is a wild one. And make no mistake, the day will come when you can't cover up what you've done. Don't lose your fight, kid. It only takes a little push to pull on through. There's so much left to do. You'll be missing out, and we'll be missing you. I heard that you've been having some trouble finding your place in the world. I know how much that hurts. But if you need a friend, just say the word. You've come this far, you're all cleaned up, you've made a mess again. There's no more crying, time to sort yourself out. Hold on tight, this ride is a wild one. And make no mistake, the day will come when you can't cover up what you've done. Now don't lose your fight, kid. It only takes a little push You'll be missing out, and we'll be missing you. Grit your teeth, pull your hair, paint the walls black, and scream, forget the world, cause it's my life, I'm gonna take it back. Never for a second blame yourself. Hold on tight, this ride is a wild one. And make no mistake, the day will come when you can't cover up what you've done. Hold on tight, this ride is a wild one. And make no mistake, the day will come when you can't cover up what you've done. Now don't lose your fight, kid. It only takes a little push to pull on through. There's so much left to do. You'll be missing out, and we'll be missing you.
Very cool.
That one's a fun one.
Yes, yes. Well, I liked it. Yeah. Um, tell me, the band's name Undefeated. Tell me how you arrived by that.
You know, it's such a random story. Uh, I'll start from the beginning, but I'll put it in a nutshell. I was part of a youth group that really didn't have room for anybody but like the important people like elders, leaders, pastors, all their daughters, whatever, whatever. And through that, I lost a lot of confidence that I had that I knew I was supposed to be doing music. I knew that's what God had for me. And to go through that and realize the people that I should have been able to look up to, I should have been safe with. One of the the youth group pastor took me into a back room when I was about 14 and literally like made it clear that this worship team was his daughters, whatever, 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 and wouldn't speak to my parents about it. It was a whole story. I know everybody has a lot of church hurt, and it's the difference between real Jesus and religion. So I learned that at a young
Right.
age. Um, but we ended up having a concert for that youth group, and a couple bands came in from Massachusetts and Canada, and I was thrown on electric guitar last minute. I had been playing guitar for like maybe a couple months. I knew like four chords, but I mean, God puts you where He wants you, you know?
Yeah.
And the manager of one of those bands came up to me afterward and said, I just feel like God is telling me to encourage you. And he invited me to his worship festival in Massachusetts. And my
Mm.
mom was kind of like, who are you and what do you want with my 13-year-old daughter? You know? And
Yeah.
we thought like the worst thing that could happen was we didn't go again. So we ended up going, and there were all sorts of genres there. There was like rock and super heavy metal and screamo and like reggae and like any
Mm.
genre you could think of was there, and it opened my eyes to like this is what music is. It's a family, it's a community, and I knew that's what I was being called to do. And I went home and I asked my brother, who was a drummer, and I was like, you want to be in the band? And he said, heck yes. So we started doing that, and we were searching for names, and nothing felt right. And then the song Undefeated by KB came on the radio. And my mom was like, what about Undefeated? And I was like, that sounds good enough. So we were christened
Yeah.
Undefeated that day.
There you go. There you go. So, what do you think God is seeking for you guys to do in this band? What's His purpose for directing all this the way He has?
Yeah, I literally, since I was young, I guess even like 6 to 8 years old, I was telling my mom, I am not meant to be in the church. I'm not whatever, whatever. And growing up, that's a weird thing to be like, I'm not part of the church. You know what I mean? But when I got older, I realized it wasn't necessarily the church body, it was the building that the church was in. Church is not a building, church is a community of people. Gather with the
Mm.
body, and it can be in your backyard on a Tuesday morning, and you're having
Mm.
fellowship with the body. And I've
Mm.
always felt called to the secular side of things because a lot of our music speaks to people my age, younger, older, and we do a lot of the rock, which some isn't everybody's cup of tea, but not everybody's cup of tea is Jesus either. You know what I mean? So to bring music that is clean and wholesome, drug free, and that has a positive message that points to the only way, and opens people's eyes to, not
Mm.
having religious hurts has been what I've always felt called to, playing in
Mm.
secular venues, playing to people that haven't necessarily had the opportunity to understand that there's somebody who loves them for who they are. And
You,
that's what I've been doing.
that reminds me of a little bit is back in the late '70s, early '80s. Um, Christian rock had been around for maybe about 10 years,
Hmm.
and it started to diversify more. And there was a band that was part of the LA heavy metal circuit playing at
Hmm.
clubs. They were called, you probably know this name, they were called Striper. And they were
Ah,
basically Christians playing
that's
heavy
the
metal.
person
And
I
that's,
opened up for at that festival.
yeah,
Michael
that's
Creek did that.
exactly what
Yeah,
they did. They'd
yeah,
go out and they'd go into secular venues and they'd play their music and they'd talk about Jesus
yeah.
and they had kind of this cool gimmick. They would take little New Testaments and chuck them out into the crowd.
That's
Like, hey,
awesome.
they're throwing Bibles at us.
Everybody duck.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, it made me think of that. Kind of
Yeah,
similar.
that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. So, do you got one more tune to share with us?
I do. This was kind of a recent single, kind of a not recent single. It's a mid single. Is that a thing? This one's
I don't know.
Cages.
It is now. Yeah.
It is not. This is Cages. It's a wild fight of mine, a warrior cry in my life. Stand guard over my dreams. For the first time, I feel sane. Lock the snake back in its cage. Stand guard. I know in my head I trust your promises. So why is my mind in motion, a chip in blissfulness? Paint a picture of wealth across the skyline. Dead rising, can you feel it? Revival's coming. And those caught up in cages think freedom is a crime. And pain into power, turn those wounds to wisdom. Stand guard, stand guard over my dreams. Speaking in new words, the language of forgiveness hurts. Stand guard over my dreams. And know in my head I trust your promises. So why is my mind in motion, a ship in blissfulness? Paint a picture of wealth across the skyline. And dead rising, can you feel it? Revival's coming. And those caught up in cages think freedom is a crime. And paint into power, turn Thank you.
I see people clapping in the video again. I see some very glowing comments. People have really been blessed by what you're doing here. Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you, guys.
Meredith Dunckel from Undefeated.
Yes.
Um, you guys are in Lowville, New York right now. You said you're going to tour all the way out to Texas, too, though. That's cool.
Yeah. Super excited. You can find all of those details. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube,
Yes.
under Undefeated Official. Just look for the girl with the blue hair.
Very good. So, please make sure to put, all the contact details in the chat, and as usual, Red will, I assume he'll make sure that gets forwarded out to the Facebook side.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you again for coming out, and
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I always
may
enjoy
may
this.
may your guys' efforts be blessed, and
Thank you.
may the hand of God be in what you're doing. Totally.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. I
All
appreciate it.